Hey guys, today we're talking about a very important tool in my tool shop. We're talking about the UltraSonic Cleaner. See you guys inside. Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today's video we're talking about an UltraSonic Cleaner, and not a specific one. I'm just talking about the tool in general and why it can be really beneficial to have one in your shop, no matter what size or type that you have. Behind me you can see here I've got the Central Machinery, basically Harbor Freight Sonic Cleaner that I use for multiple jobs. And I'm going to get into the job list that I use them for in a little bit further in this video. But also I have a Velvor large ultrasonic cleaner that I use for Warhammer and stripping other minis. So Mike, why an ultrasonic cleaner? Why is this even a thing within what you do? Whether it's model building or 3D printing. Why is this tool important? Well, I'll be honest with you. The tool is important for the one word that it says it is, a cleaner. But also, what kind of cleaner is it? So, I do all kinds of stuff within my shop. I paint, I 3D print, I do all kinds of work. I do private commissions with miniatures and all kinds of stuff like that, or I'm even doing model rescues from old model kits that I've known as a kid that I want to restore. Now, one of the primary tools in getting started in that process is usually getting old paint off, getting dirt off a model, and stuff like that. And that is where the ultrasonic cleaner comes in. The ultrasonic cleaner allows me to use distilled water, sometimes just dish soap, but also another chemical called LA Totally Awesome that I like to use in the sonic cleaner. And it allows me to strip off old paint, old dirt in a fraction of the time of me sitting there letting it soak and getting stuff off the model. So I'm going to also recommend some ultrasonic cleaners here in a little bit. But if you're new here and you haven't, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Join us as we explore all kinds of stuff in model building, 3D printing, all that kind of world that makes things just easier to do the hobby. Because, well, let's be honest, this hobby can be painful sometimes. Also, if you liked the video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Let us know you liked it. And if you got a question about it, leave it down in the comment down below. And also, in the description, you'll find links to Amazon to the ultrasonic cleaner that I enjoy. Now, why get an ultrasonic cleaner? Question 1. Why get one? Well, bad paint jobs. First point of getting it. We've all had them, we all hate them, we all see them. And I know some people, well, I screwed up. Throw it in the trash. The ultrasonic cleaner mixed with LA Totally Awesome and distilled water, especially with acrylic paints, removes that problem. So, few hours in one of these, that paint comes right back off, you dry it off, and you start your model again. And a lot of times it doesn't even affect the glued parts, which is really cool. So, and here further on you'll see I'm working on a set of miniatures in this ultrasonic cleaner that the primer set up poorly, and it just made me sad. But hey, alas, Warhammer minis are expensive, and none of us want to rebuy them again, so ultrasonic cleaner to the rescue. Great, it helps you clean off old models, clean off other models, and lets you repaint them. Great, awesome thing. What else can it do? Well, airbrushes. I take mine apart and run it through the ultrasonic cleaner on a pretty regular basis to keep it clean and keep my parts working appropriately. Because, well, let's be honest, it's hard to get up in there and clean up those airbrushes and get up in all those little nooks and crannies when I can let the ultrasonic cleaner just buzz and let it do its thing. It works fantastic, it helps out in doing the task, and just makes things easier. Now, awesome, great, I can clean my airbrushes. You can do it to the synthetic paint brushes too. Now sometimes the brushes don't hold up too well to it, but every once in a while I've had a good batch go through there. And I get my brush nice and clean, and all that paint that's built up underneath the grommet comes out, and the brush is good as new. So one thing that I do use it for is cleaning my brushes, cleaning my airbrushes, but also if I've used paint bottles. Like sometimes you guys will notice I have the generic empty paint bottles, and I will fill them with thinner and thin down paint for airbrushes. Well, you know, I kind of hate throwing those bottles away because You don't get them all that often. So those paint bottles, guess what? They can stand the Sonic Cleaner, and you can get them nice and clean and pour new stuff in and recycle what you're using. So the key thing here is it's a recycling tool for me. It lets me revitalize old minis. It lets me work on newer minis, but it also lets me keep my tools nice and clean. So it is a tool that you want to work on and keep working with. Now, we're going to jump to cost. They can cost anywhere from $70 up to however much you want to spend. I believe my Vilvor was between $150 and $200. But the Vilvor just does a fantastic job. It's large. I can throw in large models and just throw them in one piece and get all the grime off of them. So that's why I have that. Now, if you're doing just minis, there's a small mini version or the Harbor Freight version. Now, the reason why this one's great, it's at an $80 price point, and it works great. The only detractor for this one is the timer only goes for 480 seconds, where my big Velvor, I can set it for 30 minutes and walk away. So definitely look at the timer options when you're looking at it. But the little jewelry cleaners, these ultrasonic cleaners, they're fantastic. And there's tons of other uses around the house for them, like my wife's jewelry. I'll take soapy water and throw it in there and clean her rings. But also with 3D prints, sometimes after I've washed them, I've cured them, there's times I throw them in the ultrasonic cleaner just to give them one good final scrub. So the tool works across both platforms. They're really handy tools, and basically if you get a model like this, a couple hours in the LA Totally Awesome distilled water, you can have it looking back to its regular unpainted form. So it does a really good job at stripping primer, and I mainly only paint with acrylics, so it works really well for that. And 9 times out of 10, it doesn't affect the glue. Now, if they're pushed to fit parts, they may come apart, so just be careful of that. The other key thing that you need to keep in mind when you're using these ultrasonic cleaners is to watch the temperature. You don't want it to get hot in there, and it can get hot because the water's moving around at an ultrasonic pace. So after 2 or 3 runs, it can get very hot. My remedy for that a lot of times is I'll chuck in 2 or 3 ice cubes. Cool the water back down, cool it all down. That way I don't get a melted mini. And yes, I've made the mistake. So just kind of keep it in mind. And I'll pop up some things about the Velvor here towards the end. That is my big boy. I love using that one. I can just throw, honestly, I can throw a big batch of minis in there and just let them go. So awesome tool, great for the shop, awesome for cleaning up other tools. And you know, I use it a lot. And coupled with the distilled water and the LA Totally Awesome, which honestly, the LA Totally Awesome, you can find that at Dollar Tree for not a very bad cost. I think $1.25 for a pretty good little size bottle. So kind of keep that in mind. It's a way to preserve your figures, keep them going. The only thing that you have to tolerate with one of these is the sound. My big one, it's out in the garage. I don't hear it. This one I bring in every once in a while, especially when I'm cleaning my Sotar 2020 and my other airbrushes. I'll have it there. And like I said, sometimes the annoying time is make sure you read what timer setting you can get. Because I didn't know that about this little one, that it would only run for the 480 seconds. A half an hour cycle is a bit more preferred for me. So especially when I'm doing a bunch of minis. Now this one holds a relatively good bay. We'll switch over to some video on that here in a second. I can put maybe 10-15 minis in there and just let it rock. So the Velvor, I can easily put in an Imperial Knight. Well, this is a Chaos Knight, but I could easily just put him in and let it go to town. So all kind of things to kind of keep in mind. So they really are worth their money, especially if you're a modelist and you make a mistake on a piece. You throw it in there, an hour or two later, you're ready to start over again. So hope you guys enjoyed the content. We're going to hop over, you're going to see some of the video on that, some before-after photos to kind of see what this tool really does for you. So hope you guys enjoyed. Links are down in the descriptions. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and if you've got any additional questions, let me know. We'll catch you guys in the next video.
All right, guys, we're out here in the garage. You guys can see this is my Vivor Digital UltraSonic Cleaner. I will warn you, this guy is noisy, but I'm gonna move my 3D print out of the way here for a second. It is a handy tool to getting rid of that unwanted paint on this Mini. So you guys can see this did not lay down nearly what I would have liked, and it's got to come off. So if you take a look here, and I'll pop the lid. Yeah, I ran a batch earlier. And you can see all that darkness. That water was a yellowish color. So all you got to do here, bloop, he'll sink in there, close your lid. Right now it's got 21 minutes on it. I'm going to run with that. Away my noisy machine goes.